Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and today Apple released iOS 26.4 to the public. iOS 26.4 is available around the world at the same time for everyone on all iOS 26 supported devices. If you're not seeing the update, you can find it under Settings, go down to General, and then Software Update. If you're still not seeing the update, pull down to refresh or go back into Software Update, and you should see it here. Now, this update includes many new features and changes, as well as bug fixes and more. So if you want to jump to any specific part of the video, be sure to check out the chapters in the description below. Now, the first thing they have updates for is a fix for the keyboard. We'll come back to that later, but the first physical change is new emoji. We can find those within our messages here, and you'll see the new emoji here. Every so often, they update these to comply with the latest Unicode standard. Apple does not come up with the emoji, but they just add them to comply with the standard. So we have here a distorted face, a fight cloud, a Sasquatch or hairy creature, treasure chest, a ballet dancer, trombone, orca, and landslide. So those are all new, and they should be on your iPhone, iPad, and Mac as well. Also within messages, if you go to create a new message, the animation is different. If we tap this button here, you'll see it pops out from the right side. Let me do it one more time, and you'll see it pops out where before it slid up from the bottom to the top. One thing Apple did not add in this update is RCS end-to-end encryption. That will be coming in the future, but if we go into our settings for messages here, scroll down to where we have RCS, within the betas we actually had an update for end-to-end encryption. This will be added in a future update according to Apple, but it's not here with iOS 26.4. If we go into music, there's quite a few changes here. First, we'll go to the library tab, and depending on where you live, in particular the United States, you'll see a new icon here. Tap on this and you can create a playlist based on whatever you'd like to hear. So it's called Playlist Playground, and you'll see it's in beta and may create unexpected results. It's giving you some suggestions here for new playlist ideas such as morning coffee music, songs for the after party, as well as suggested songs as well. If we just go here, we can tell it what we want to hear, such as 90s songs that everyone knows, and then we'll give it a moment to create this playlist. So you'll see what it looks like here. It takes a moment, and then it will let us know with some haptic feedback that it's completed. So there we go, it's created the playlist, and you can see all of the different songs. If you want to rearrange them, just press and hold, slide them up and down, whatever you'd like, and then you can listen to these different songs, of course, based off what you've typed. So we'll go out of this, and there's some other changes as well. For example, if we tap maybe on an album here, in this album area, they've changed the design. So if we compare it with 26.3.1, we'll go into the same album, you'll see that the buttons have changed. We now have a big play button in the middle with a download button. It's already downloaded here, as well as shuffle on the left. If we move our thumb over this, you'll see the button interacts with touch, so that's a little bit new. And then there's also a change here with playlists. If you want to quickly add this, press and hold on the download button, and you can add it to a playlist. You can also add songs to multiple playlists at the same time. That's with this button down here in the bottom right. So we'll tap on this, and if we want to add this song or album to multiple playlists at once, we can do that. So maybe you can select all of those, but we'll just maybe select this one, as well as maybe my playlist mix, and now we'll add them to both at the same time. So that's super nice that you're able to do that, and it says 13 songs added to 2 playlists. And if we go back home, there's some changes here as well. So if we have playlists that Apple Music suggests and we go into that, so made for you, maybe we'll go into chill. We'll just turn this down here, go into chill. And again, the background has changed and it's full screen. We'll go in here and everything sort of matches. It's just a really nice look that they've updated throughout the OS. There's other changes under Home as well. It now suggests concerts near you. So based on what you listen to, you'll see some concerts near me in the Charlotte area where it says Toby Mac at the Bojangles Coliseum, gives the time. Again, we have Crowder, Jeremy Camp, and others. So you can scroll through and see all of the concerts near you based on what you listen to. Also to do with the control center, if we scroll down here, you'll see we have Shazam. And if you identify music with this, and maybe you're offline, you have no internet connection, it now will identify that. And then when it connects back to the internet, it will deliver the results automatically. Also, something they've added has to do with the ambient music controls we had in the control center before. Now we've had these for a little while, ambient music here, but now there's a new widget to go along with this. So if we go over here, you'll see this widget where we have sleep, chill, productivity, and well-being. Now, Apple continues to refine liquid glass. There's a new option for it under accessibility and then under display and text size. If we scroll down, you'll see we have a new option for reduce bright effects. It says it minimizes highlighting and flashing when interacting with on-screen elements such as buttons or the keyboard. So if we turn this on and it reduces the bright effects, and then maybe we go to messages, if we tap where it says text message, you'll see there's no highlighting here. So that's something that they've changed. If you want to leave that on, of course, we'll go back and you'll see if we tap, now it highlights. So you can turn that off now as well. There's also a new option to reduce motion more. So if you really don't like liquid glass and you want to reduce motion, once you enable this, they've now made it so that it's more reliable and the animations are less liquid glass. So if we go into maybe a folder here, you'll see that it's changed. Another change is if we tap on edit here while we're editing the home screen, it's now more translucent as far as the menu goes. You'll see side by side, it's definitely more of a liquid glass look. Another accessibility feature has to do with captions. If we go over and maybe play a movie here, and this is the movie F1, and you'll see that we have captions here, but now we have some styles for those captions. You'll see this option here, and not only can we turn subtitles on and off, but if we go to style, we can change it to classic. That's what it looks like, large text, outline, or transparent background. Also within accessibility, under live captions, under the language option, there's now a new one for Chinese for Taiwan. And also to do with liquid glass, you'll see I have the tinted option enabled, and if we go into the control center, the actual glass is a little bit darker. Apple has also made some changes to wallpaper, so if we go over and add some new wallpaper, if we scroll down, you'll see that we now have different categories. They've broken up weather and astronomy, but also made them so they're not installed by default, freeing up some storage. So you'll see we have emoji, kaleidoscope, Unity, Pride, iOS 26, iPhone 17 Pro Max, collections, and color. If you want to install some, just tap on it, tap Get, and then it shows up here. If you want to get rid of them, remove it from your gallery, and it's no longer downloaded, and it should free up some storage as well. Within privacy and security, if we scroll to the bottom, you'll see that we have stolen device protection. This is now enabled by default on iOS 26.4. So this is something that could be helpful to add a layer of security to your iPhone in the event that it's stolen and someone knows your passcode. So it will enable it by default. If you don't want it on, of course, you can still turn it off. And to go along with security, if we go to Face ID and passcode, anytime you get prompted to enter your passcode, it's now centered again. It's no longer justified to the left. Back within settings, if you have a family set up, they've made some changes. And within family settings, under purchase sharing, it now lets adult members in the family sharing groups use their own payment method without relying on the family organizer's payment method. So I have a bunch of people under me, they no longer have to rely on my card, they can use their own now. Within our settings for camera, there's an update as well. Under record sound, you'll see there's a new option for audio zoom. It says recorded audio is focused on the subject when camera is zoomed. This is something it did by default before, and if you don't like it, you can now disable it. If we go into podcasts, there's also a major update here for those that want video podcasts. You'll see that this particular one says video in the upper right. This is an example Apple used in their announcement. And if we scroll down, you can also see that some of these have video podcast options as well. There's a little video icon there. If we go into the podcast itself, there's now a simple button to just switch between video or switch back to audio. So whatever works for you, whichever one you want to listen to or see, you can then switch back and forth seamlessly. The podcast creator, though, does have to set this up. If we go into reminders, you'll see we have a new smart category for urgent, where they added that feature in the past. But if we go into a reminder from today, press and hold on it, we can then quickly mark it as urgent. It then jumps back into that category, and we can see all of our urgent reminders here. We have a new Freeform icon to go along with Apple's new Creative Studio, and you'll see we have a new icon down here at the bottom that allows us to add new style options. You'll see we have shapes, we also have backgrounds, we have graphics, as well as photos, and then discover. Within our settings under Personal Hotspot, they've added the additional option for data usage that allows us to see more information about the data usage from specific devices. For example, you'll see Aaron's MacBook Pro M4 Max here that used 4.15 gigabytes. So it used it 3 weeks ago when I was traveling. So it just gives you more information as to what is specifically using your data. If we go into the App Store, there's some changes here. Down at the bottom, they've combined search all into one bar where it was separate before. So it just looks a little bit different if we compare it with 26.3.1. Also, if we go into search, it's changed as well, where the search bar is now at the top. So that's a little bit different. And if we go into our account settings in the upper right, that's different as well. And side by side, the account page is completely different. So you'll see we now have updates here in a separate category. That's how you access updates for your different applications. We also have an option at the bottom to add money, redeem a code, send a gift, and we have our family settings and app store settings at the very bottom. Another area that has a change is games. They've again combined the search bar to go along with the app store. And if we go into search, the search bar is at the top where you enter text. Now this time within settings, if we tap our name at the top, and then if we go into iCloud, there's some updates here down toward the bottom where we now have an option for iCloud.com. If we go into this, you'll see that it says allow data access and then allow search. It says allow your trusted Apple device to provide search results to iCloud.com. You can enable this if you'd like, and then there's some advanced options here where you can export recent searches or clear them as well. Within our phone, there's a small change. Within our Recents tab, if you missed a call, you'll now see the city and state where the call was from. This time, if we go under Shortcuts, there's a new update here where if we add a shortcut, and now we search for an action for battery, you'll see there's a new one for Set Battery Charge Limit. So we can then set that based on whatever charge limit we'd like from 80% to 100% as well. Also, if we want to change the icon or glyph for our shortcut, there's a new one here as well. If you search for phone, there's a new glyph for a flip phone. Within notifications, if you're in the EU, you may have a new option for notification forwarding. We thought this would be in iOS 26.3, but this now allows you to forward notifications to things such as third-party watches. So if you're not using an Apple Watch, you want to add a third-party accessory and then forward those notifications to it, you should have this option. Let me know if you're seeing it in the comments below. To go along with Apple Watch as well, there's some changes here within Health. If we go into Health, this time we go into maybe Vitals, Apple has added blood oxygen back into Vitals. They've since won the patent dispute between their workaround for their blood oxygen sensor in the United States, and you can see those Vitals here coming right from your Apple Watch that supports it. Also, if you use sleep within the app, so if we go up to maybe sleep here, there's a sleep score, of course, that we've had before, but it will now show you an average bedtime if you're utilizing this feature. So I don't use it that much, but it will then tell you an average bedtime, and you'll see specific times here, but again, it will give you the average if you use it regularly. Also, if you're playing music, maybe to a HomePod, a pair of HomePods, or Apple CarPlay, you can now quickly share play using a QR code. Just tap the share play icon, a large QR code will just pop up, and then you can have someone scan it to join automatically, much easier than before. Now in the UK, some people are seeing age verification pop up on their display. This may be required where you live. However, in the past, Apple has said this is a bug. But again, this could roll out to more areas depending on what the local laws are. Many have asked me if we can still AirDrop to Google Pixels with the latest update or if Apple has blocked it. So let's go ahead and try it with the Pixel 10 Pro XL. So we'll go ahead and AirDrop to the Pixel. You'll see it's already selected here under Quick Share. It says ready to receive. And it says waiting. So we'll give it just a moment here. We can tap accept and it looks like it's working. So definitely still working here. And again, give it just a moment and it looks like it's sending without a problem. So it's something that still works and it's not blocked with iOS 26.4. iPadOS 26.4 gets a couple updates as well. The first one has to do with Safari. You'll see we have a few tabs here. We have Apple, Google, and Mac. And if we go into our settings for Safari, you'll see that we now have the option for separate tab bar or compact tab bar. If we swipe back into Safari, you'll see that our tab bar is now compact. So we can switch between these without any issue. Nice and compact. But if you want to use the separate tab bar like it was before, just go back in and set it the other way. There's also an update here as well, whereas if maybe you have a bunch of hidden or minimized windows, it will let you know. If we go into Mail, you'll see it pop up here where it says 2 hidden windows. We can show what's available with a couple different windows I've created here, and it allows us to quickly select those and then maybe email whoever we want. So it's a great feature, and if we go back into Mail, you'll see that it shows it again anytime you go into an app where there's hidden windows. One thing we are not getting with iOS 26.4 is the Siri 2.0 Apple Intelligence enhancements. So that's something we don't see yet. There is no option for it. And if we go into our settings under Apple Intelligence, it's the same exact thing. So this could be coming with iOS 26.5 or a future update as well. Also, this update supports the new AirPods Max 2 that Apple announced the other day. So you'll see here AirPods Max 2, and if you learn more, scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see information that it requires iOS 26.4. You'll see it all throughout where it mentions 26.4. So you'll need this version in order to use all the features for that. When it comes to bugs and bug fixes, well, Apple has finally fixed the keyboard bug. In their notes, they specifically mention that they've improved keyboard accuracy when typing quickly. This has been a problem for quite a while, and if we go into notes and type "this is iOS 26.4 on iPhone 17 Pro Max," and you'll see it keeps up just fine. It works well on older phones and seems to be improved like they've said. So this is great news, and it's finally resolved. Another thing that seems to be improved is RAM management. That means going into an app, it doesn't reload things in the background unless maybe you haven't been in it in a while. But if we go into podcasts, you'll see it reloaded there, but we've been into a lot of things such as settings, photos, and other things. So this will vary from device to device, but many people are reporting it's very improved. The other thing that's improved is Apple CarPlay. Many people are saying if they had issues with connectivity before, it's now connecting without an issue. With iOS 26.3 and other updates, I had issues where it would connect and then disconnect. Now it's connecting and staying connected. So it seems much, much better this time around. Another thing that's slightly improved is the wallpaper bug. So if we pull down from the top, you'll see it's nice and vibrant. Swipe up, it desaturates a little bit, but it's not as bad or dramatic as it was before. It seems like they're slightly improving this, and while that's not super important, maybe they'll fix it in future updates like they have with the keyboard bug. Also, other things that were problems before, such as App Store search, are nice and fast. Spotlight seems to be working like you would expect. Everything is searching and working much, much better this time around, and it looks like they've really improved quite a few things. The other thing they haven't fixed, though, is the sort of shadow behind Do Not Disturb. This sort of comes and goes, but you'll see it's quite dramatic here on this wallpaper as we have a light background at the bottom. Now, this update also includes security releases. However, Apple doesn't typically publish this until maybe a few hours after the public release. So you'll see it on this website, and I'll link it in the description below, but you'll see the previous updates here, and this will be updated either by the time you're watching this video or possibly within a few hours, sometimes even a few days, depending on what the updates are. When it comes to releases, of course, the next release could finally be the Siri 2.0 Apple Intelligence release with iOS 26.5 Beta 1. We could see that as soon as this week. Maybe we won't see it for another week or so. Apple hasn't given a specific date yet, but hopefully we'll see that very soon where they'll finally roll that out and we can try it out. If not, though, we could see it with iOS 27, and that's just a couple months away where they'll show the first version, typically at WWDC 2026 or the Worldwide Developer Conference. Typically that will take place around the second week of June, possibly around June 8th. So we could see it there, then we'll have betas throughout the summer, and then it should release to the public typically around the next iPhone launch, around iPhone 18 Pro, maybe in the second or third week of September. So that's what we can expect there, but hopefully we see Siri 2.0 very, very soon. If you're wondering if you should install iOS 26.4, well, the vast majority of people say that it's a big improvement. Not just an improvement on this device, but older devices as well, with scrolling, speed, things such as ProMotion, whether that's in the app library, things seem to be nice and smooth, and just definitely refined in this update compared to previous updates. So definitely much better there. When it comes to overall heat, it seems to be staying nice and cool. Just depends on what you're doing, but let's go ahead and run benchmarks here. Now, if we take a look at thermals, in the hottest point, we're right around 37 to 38 degrees Celsius. It may be a little bit hotter, a couple degrees hotter than before, but it definitely runs a lot smoother and a lot faster, and it's not hot to the touch. Let's wait for benchmarks to complete, and we'll take a look there. When it comes to overall battery life, while it will take a few days to measure this for sure, I've been using iOS 26.4 betas and RC on my main device. If we take a look at battery and battery health, you'll see I'm at 100% capacity with 44 cycles. And if we take a look at overall battery usage, you'll see I had 2 hours and 31 minutes of screen active time, 28 minutes of screen idle time, and used just 35% of the battery. It seems like throughout the betas and everything else, it's been getting much better with 26.4. So 4 hours and 2 minutes of screen active time with just 61% usage, easily getting me through the day. But we'll talk more about this in the weekend follow-up video. Now, I ran benchmarks a couple different times, and this is by far the best I've seen in a long time. 3,895 for single core, 10,112 for multi-core. This is performing very well. It feels super fast and fluid, and generally just a great update overall. So nice transitions, everything just looks really nice. And so that's everything with iOS 26.4, a pretty significant update, not only for things such as the keyboard bug fix, but quite a few new features as well. Let me know what your favorite feature is in this update in the comments below, and if you're looking forward to Siri 2.0 as well. Of course, I'll link this wallpaper in the description like I normally do, and if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.